Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. Today's episode is called The Secret to Increasing Your Home's Value by $75,000. Whether you want to sell your home or you're flipping a rental property, one of the best ways to add value is to add 1 or 2 bedrooms. We'll show you some insider tips that allow you to add $75,000 or more for every bedroom that you add to your home. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe, like, follow, or comment on the show, as well as to tell you that the show is sponsored by Hollywood is Calling. It is a company which allows you to purchase live calls with real celebrities, and the calls that are made directly to your cell phone. You can talk to them live, or they can leave you a message, and the calls are $19.95 or $29.95. It's a great gift idea. So HollywoodIsCalling.com. Give it a try. Now let's get started. Everybody knows that one of the best ways to add value to your home is to add bedrooms. What most people don't realize are all the unique ways that you can do that. What's important is adding bedrooms in a way that keeps costs down and adds more value. We're going to show you some of those insider tips. Before you begin this process, there are things you should know before you hire somebody. One of the ways that you keep your costs down is to be very, very thorough and meticulous in the vetting process when it comes to finding and hiring a contractor. First things first, you should get at least 10 contractors to give you an estimate. A lot of people will say get 2 or 3 estimates. That's nonsense. The problem is that a number of the people that you have applying for your work they'll be alcoholics, they'll be drug addicts, so you need to vet all of that out. And one of the ways to do that is to interview a larger number of contractors. Before they come to your house to give you the bid, I want you to ask them to email you a copy of their contractor's license and their current and valid insurance policy. Next, I want you to ask them if they charge for coming out and giving you a bid. If they do, cancel and move on to the next person on the list. You also want them to email you copies of all the subcontractors' licenses and insurance policies that will be working for you. That's really important. The next thing you want to do is you want to read each contractor's reviews on Angie's List, Home Advisor, Yelp, and Google. You want to make sure that this contractor has worked well with other clients in the past, and reading their reviews is one way of doing that. Now, everybody's reviews will have 1 or 2 negative comments in them. What's important is that the vast majority of them be positive. Equally important to getting reviews and checking reviews is to check references. You want to speak to past homeowners that these contractors have worked with. Next thing, never ever pay more than 5% up front and then release funds, in a reasonable fashion as certain work milestones are completed. Never before. If a contractor wants 50, 25, or 10% up front, tell them that's not going to happen. You also want to get lien releases and purchase receipts from all the purchases, so that to make sure that the subcontractors have been paid, and to ensure that none of these subcontractors can sue you because they weren't paid by the general contractor who you just hired. Now, one of the great ways to add a new bedroom is to repurpose an existing room. Repurposing is one of the most cost-effective ways of doing this. You can repurpose spaces like attics, basements, garages, bonus rooms, and other common areas and turn them into bedrooms. In most states, to qualify as a bedroom, a room has to have a closet, a door, and a window. And needless to say, you always want to make sure that your contractor is legally responsible for pulling the permits on the work they do for you. Make sure that is written into the contract. Now, the cost of repurposing a room into a bedroom can depend on a number of variables. So you want to analyze those costs and compare them to the increase in your home's value that you'll realize once the job is finished. That means, once again, I can't stress this enough, you have to be really smart and aggressive with how you keep your construction costs down. Another tip that can add a lot of value is to convert a room into a bedroom that is next to an existing bathroom. Then you can create a new door from the new bedroom into the existing bathroom, create a Jack and Jill door, and that'll add value. Another option is converting attics into bedrooms. Now, the cost of converting an attic into a bedroom can be a bit higher because you may have to raise the ceiling, you may have to strengthen the floor, you may have to add doors, you may have to add windows, you may have to add special lighting, heating, and cooling. So all of that has to be factored in, which is why, if possible, if your attic is large enough, you should consider adding 2 or 3 bedrooms up there just to add additional value. Another option is to add basement bedroom. Adding 1 or 2 bedrooms to your basement can add tremendous value, but there are a number of other considerations. Is your basement dark and damped? Will you have to add additional heating and cooling? Will you have to add closets? Will you have to add flooring, electrical? Will you have to create a separate entranceway? Do you want to add a kitchenette so you can turn the entire basement apartment into a separate unit that the tenant can come and go from as they please? If there's no entrance, will you have to add a special egress window so that in case of a fire, the tenant can escape through that? These are all considerations you have to factor in. The next option is adding a garage bedroom. Now, on the one hand, adding a bedroom to your garage can add significant value. The problem is that the majority of homeowners want a garage to park their car in, not to sleep in. So on the one hand, you'll be adding tremendous value. On the other hand, you'll be eliminating 75% of the buyer's pool. Another option is something called a bump out bedroom. Some homes have what's known as a roofing overhang extending from the side of the building. That could be for a patio, it could be for something else. Well, if you have one of those, it can be very cost effective to build a floor and walls around it and create that into a bedroom. You can oftentimes save 15 to 20% of the build costs simply because you already have an existing roof in place. So something you should keep in mind is that more is usually better when it comes to bedrooms. There are a lot of cities in the United States now where multi-generational families will now buy a home together. The grandparents will live on one floor, the young couple will live on another floor, the cousins will live on a third floor, and the more bedrooms you have, the more prospective buyers will be interested in purchasing it. Now, I know I stressed this previously, but it's really important that you focus on cost containment. You do not want to spend more money adding a bedroom than you'll get when you sell the home. Now, if you're adding bedrooms because you want to do Airbnb and you want to rent out the home, that's different entirely. Airbnbs can pay 3 to 4 times as much in rent as traditional 12-month leases. So that can be tremendously favorable. And the last thing I want to tell you is about the power of light. Do everything you can to add more light to your property. Add skylights, add ceiling lights, add larger windows, add very light, bright paint schemes, bright furniture. There have been a number of studies that show bright equals money. People love bright. It lifts their spirits. It makes them feel welcome. Dark paint schemes and the absence of light turns people off. You'll lose a lot of prospective buyers by doing that. So keep in mind the financial benefits of bright white light. So with that, I want to thank you for watching and tell you that we will talk to you soon.